Audiobook Eleanor of the Flamebound Realms. Part 1, The Dawn of Innocence. The wind sings through the high meadows of Caerthwen, brushing golden strands of Eleanor's hair across her cheek like a lover's whisper. She stands barefoot on the ridge, the hem of her linen shift fluttering around her ankles, eyes fixed on the horizon where the twin suns bleed into the sky like spilled honey and fire. Below, the valley breathes with life, orchards heavy with fruit, the silver-threaded river winding like a serpent through the fields, and the distant bell of the village temple calling the faithful to dusk prayers. But Eleanor does not pray. She listens. To the wind. To the pulse of the earth beneath her feet. To the quiet ache in her chest that has grown louder with each passing season. She is 17, and the world has not yet broken her. Not yet. Caerthwen is a place of old songs and older silences. The villagers speak of the gods with reverence, but Eleanor knows them only as names etched into the stone altar her mother once knelt before. Her mother, Lysara, who died when Eleanor was 10, leaving behind a daughter with eyes too sharp and questions too dangerous. Her father, Lord Marion, is a man of duty and distance. He rules the province from the keep of Vitaliy, a fortress carved into the cliffs like a wound in the land. Eleanor visits him twice a year, once for the Festival of Flame, and once for the binding of the stars. He greets her with formality, kisses her forehead like a diplomat sealing a treaty, and sends her back to the meadows with a pouch of coin and a book of ancient lore. It is in those books that Eleanor first learns of the Flamebound Realms. Of the gods who walked the earth in mortal guise. Of the magic that once flowed like blood through the veins of the land. Of the veil that separates the living from the forgotten. She reads by candlelight, fingers tracing the faded ink, heart thrumming with longing she cannot name. On the eve of her 18th year, the sky fractures. It begins with a whisper in the orchard. Eleanor is gathering moonfruit, the pale orbs glowing faintly in the twilight, when the air thickens. The wind dies. The trees still. And then, she hears it. A voice. Low. Male. Not spoken aloud, but inside her. She is awakening. She drops the fruit. Turns. Nothing. But the world feels different. Tilted. As if something ancient has stirred beneath the soil. That night, she dreams of fire. Not destruction, but rebirth. Flames curling around her body like a lover's embrace, burning away everything she thought she was. She wakes with her skin damp and her heart racing, the scent of smoke lingering in her hair. The next morning, a stranger arrives. He rides into Caerthwen on a black stallion, cloak billowing like storm clouds, eyes the color of obsidian. His name is Caliph, and he claims to be a scholar from the city of Therion, seeking rare herbs for his studies. But Eleanor sees the lie in his smile. He watches her too closely, speaks too carefully. And when he touches the ancient runes carved into the temple stones, they glow faintly beneath his fingers. Magic. Real. Alive. Dangerous. She confronts him beneath the moonlight, voice trembling with fury and fascination. You're not a scholar. Caliph's smile fades. No. Then what are you? He steps closer, and the air between them crackles. I am a seeker. And you, Eleanor of Caerthwen, are the flame the gods forgot. She does not believe him. Not at first. But the signs multiply. The orchard blooms out of season. Her touch heals a wounded bird. The river rises when she weeps. And then, on the night of the Festival of Flame, she is summoned. A messenger from Vitaliy arrives, bloodied and breathless. Lord Marion is dead. Poisoned. And Eleanor is named his heir. The villagers whisper. The priests protest. A girl cannot rule. A girl cannot wield power. But Eleanor does not flinch. She rides to Virehall with Caliph at her side, the wind howling like prophecy. The keep is colder than she remembers. Stone corridors echo with footsteps that do not belong to her. Servants bow with eyes lowered. The council gathers, their faces carved from suspicion and fear. They speak of war, of unrest in the southern provinces, of the rise of the Shadowborn, creatures twisted by ancient magic, long thought extinct. They speak of Eleanor as if she is a child. But she is not. She stands before them in her mother's crimson gown, hair braided with flame flowers, voice steady as steel. I will rule. They laugh. Until the torches flare without flame. Until the runes on the walls blaze with light. Until Caliph kneels beside her and speaks the words of binding. And the gods answer. That night, Eleanor dreams again. She stands on the edge of a cliff, the sea roaring below, stars bleeding silver across the sky. A figure waits in the shadows, tall, cloaked, familiar. Caliph. But his eyes are not his own. They glow with ancient fire. He reaches for her. And she falls. She wakes with a gasp. The keep is silent. But the world is changing. And Eleanor is no longer innocent. She is becoming. And the gods are watching. Part 2, The Hidden Court. The gates of Virehall groan open beneath a sky bruised with stormlight. Eleanor rides through them like a whisper turned weapon, her cloak soaked from the rain, her eyes burning with the fire of a girl who has seen too much and still chooses to rise. The keep is no longer a place of childhood memory. It is a crucible. And she is the flame. Caliph walks beside her, silent, watchful. His presence is a shadow stitched to hers, and though she does not trust him, she cannot deny the pull. There is something in him, something ancient, something broken, that mirrors the storm inside her. The council awaits. They gather in the Hall of Echoes, where the walls are carved with the names of rulers long turned to dust. 12 seats. 11 filled. The 12th, her father's, remains draped in mourning silk. Lord Veyron of the Iron Marches speaks first. His voice is gravel and disdain. You are a child. Eleanor does not flinch. I am the heir. Lady Seralith of the Moonspire leans forward, her silver eyes sharp. And what do you know of ruling, girl? Of war? Of blood? Eleanor steps into the center of the circle, the runes beneath her feet pulsing faintly. I know loss. I know fire. And I know that the gods have not forgotten me. The runes flare. The council falls silent. Later, in the chambers once belonging to her mother, Eleanor finds a letter. Hidden beneath the floorboards. Sealed with a sigil she does not recognize, 2 serpents entwined around a flame. She breaks it open. To my daughter, when the veil begins to thin. The words are written in Lysara's hand. Eleanor reads them with trembling fingers. You are more than blood and bone. You are the key to the Flamebound. The court will try to shape you. The gods will try to claim you. But you must choose your own fire. Seek the hidden court. There, truth wears no mask. She does not sleep. The storm rages outside, but inside her, something colder stirs. The hidden court. She has heard whispers of a place beneath the city of Therion, where magic is not bound by law, and secrets are currency. A court not ruled by kings, but by those who remember the old ways. Caliph confirms it with a glance. It exists. But it is not safe. Eleanor smiles, and it is not the smile of a girl. Neither am I. They leave Virehall under cover of night. Caliph conjures a veil of shadow to cloak their passage, and Eleanor rides with her heart thundering like war drums. The road to Therion is long, winding through forests that whisper her name, across bridges carved from bone and stone, past villages where the people bow not in reverence, but in fear. She is changing. The magic inside her is no longer dormant. It flickers beneath her skin, responding to emotion, to danger, to desire. And Caliph watches. Always. Therion rises from the mist like a dream half-remembered. Spired towers. Floating lanterns. Streets paved with obsidian and gold. The city hums with power, and Eleanor feels it thrumming in her bones. They enter through the Scholar's Gate, posing as emissaries from Virehall. Caliph's forged sigils pass inspection, but Eleanor knows they are being watched. The city is not what it seems. Beneath the surface, something stirs. The hidden court lies beneath the Temple of the Veil. They descend through catacombs lit by ghost light, past statues of gods whose names have been erased, through a door carved from living wood that pulses with breath. Inside, the court waits. Not nobles. Not priests. But beings. A woman with wings of glass. A man whose skin flickers between shadow and flame. A child with eyes older than time. And at the center, an empty throne. Eleanor steps forward. The court does not speak. They feel. And they feel her. The fire. The grief. The hunger. She kneels. And the throne ignites. A voice fills the chamber. Not Caliph's. Not hers. But one she has heard only in dreams. She is the flame reborn. The court bows. And Eleanor rises. Part 3, The Stranger with Secrets. The city of Therion does not sleep. Its towers shimmer with moonlight, its streets pulse with whispers, and beneath its surface, the hidden court breathes in silence. Eleanor walks through it like a flame cloaked in silk, watched, weighed, and whispered about. She is no longer the girl from Caerthwen. She is the heir of Virehall, the Flamebound, the one who made the throne burn. But power is a promise, not a shield. And Therion is a city of masks. Caliph disappears. One moment he is beside her, guiding her through the labyrinth of politics and prophecy. The next, he is gone, no note, no trace, only a lingering scent of ash and shadow. Eleanor searches the temples, the taverns, the archives of the Flamebound order. Nothing. She feels the absence like a wound. And then she meets him. He calls himself Ryan. A mercenary. A wanderer. A man with eyes like stormlight and a voice that coils around her spine like silk. He finds her in the market of glass, where merchants sell illusions and memories bottled in crystal. She is watching a flame dancer perform when he speaks. You don't belong here. She turns, ready to strike. But his gaze holds her. Not with magic. With recognition. Ryan knows things he should not. Of her mother's bloodline. Of the veil. Of the prophecy whispered in the ruins of the Flamebound temple. He speaks of the gods not as myths, but as exiles. Of a war that fractured the realms and a power that was hidden in flesh and fire. He speaks of her. You are the ember they tried to bury. Eleanor does not trust him. But she cannot ignore him. They walk the city together. Through the gardens of stone, where flowers bloom only under moonlight. Through the library of echoes, where books whisper their truths to those who dare to listen. Ryan shows her the places Caliph never did. The cracks in the court. the rot beneath the gold. And slowly, dangerously, she begins to feel. Not just curiosity. Desire. One night, in the chamber of mirrors, he touches her. Not with lust. With reverence. His fingers brush her cheek, and the mirrors flare with light. They show her not herself, but versions, Eleanor as queen, as warrior, as flame. Ryan watches, silent, as she trembles. "You are becoming," he whispers. And she wants to believe him. But secrets are never silent. She finds a scroll in his satchel, written in the tongue of the ancients, sealed with the mark of the Shadowborn. It speaks of a weapon. A girl. A flame. She confronts him beneath the moon. "You lied." Ryan does not deny it. "I protected you. You used me. I loved you." The words strike like lightning. And Eleanor burns. She leaves him. Not with hatred. With heartbreak. And the city watches as the Flamebound walks alone. But Ryan's betrayal is not the only shadow rising. The court is fracturing. The gods are stirring. And in the north, the veil begins to bleed. Eleanor stands on the edge of war. And she is no longer afraid. Part 4, The Shattered Veil. The veil breaks at dawn. Not with thunder. Not with fire. But with silence. Eleanor stands on the balcony of the Flamebound temple, watching the sky fracture. A thin line of silver cuts through the clouds, pulsing like a heartbeat. The priests fall to their knees. The runes etched into the stone walls blaze with light. And deep beneath the city, something ancient begins to stir. The gods are waking. And the world is no longer safe. She feels it in her blood. A tremor. A calling. A hunger. The magic inside her, once dormant, once gentle, now roars. It coils around her spine, threads through her veins, whispers in languages she does not yet understand. She clutches the railing, breath shallow, heart racing. Caliph returns. He steps from the shadows like a ghost reborn, cloak torn, eyes darker than she remembers. He does not speak. He kneels. And Eleanor forgives him. Not with words. With fire. Together, they descend into the catacombs. The hidden court is in chaos. The throne no longer burns. The winged woman weeps molten tears. The child with ancient eyes speaks in riddles. The veil has shattered. The dead will walk. The gods will choose. Eleanor listens. And she understands. The veil was never a barrier. It was a promise. And now, it is broken. She dreams again. Of a battlefield soaked in starlight. Of a blade forged from her own flame. Of Ryan, standing at the edge of the abyss, eyes filled with regret. He reaches for her. And she turns away. The Flamebound order summons her. They are the keepers of the old truths, the guardians of the sacred fire. Their temple lies beyond the city, carved into the cliffs of Elthar, where the sea sings of forgotten things. Eleanor rides with Caliph, the wind sharp with prophecy. The order greets her not as heir, but as weapon. They speak of the shattered veil. Of the rise of the Shadowborn. Of the gods who will soon walk again. And of the girl who must choose. They give her a task. To retrieve the Ember Codex, a book lost to time, hidden in the ruins of Saradin, a city swallowed by sand and silence. It holds the truth of the Flamebound. The origin of magic. The prophecy of the Fireborn. Eleanor accepts. Not because she believes. Because she must. The journey begins. Through deserts that whisper her name. Through storms that taste her blood. Through ruins that remember her mother's footsteps. Caliph rides beside her. But something is changing. He watches her with reverence. With fear. With longing. And Eleanor feels it too. The pull. The danger. The desire. In the ruins of Saradhen, they find the Codex. Buried beneath a temple of bone, guarded by shadows that bleed light. Eleanor touches it, and the world shifts. She sees the past. The gods forging the veil. The Flamebound rising. Her mother, Lysara, standing before the throne of fire, pregnant, defiant, radiant. She sees herself. Not as girl. As goddess. She wakes with the codex in her arms. Caliph kneels beside her, eyes wet with truth. You are not meant to rule, he whispers. You are meant to burn. Part 5, The Oath of Fire. The Ember Codex trembles in Eleanor's hands. Its pages are not parchment, but woven flame, living, breathing, whispering truths that were never meant to be spoken aloud. She reads by moonlight, Caliph silent beside her, the desert wind curling through the ruins of Saradhen like a morning song. Each word brands her soul. The flame does not serve. It chooses. The heir is not born. She is forged. To awaken the gods, one must burn. Eleanor closes the codex. And she understands. They return to Therion under a sky split with omens. The veil continues to bleed, ghosts flicker in alleyways, temples hum with forgotten hymns, and the Flamebound order prepares for war. The city is no longer a place of secrets. It is a battlefield waiting to ignite. The hidden court summons her. But this time, they do not kneel. They demand. Swear the oath. Eleanor stands before the throne of ash, the codex in her hands, her heart a storm of grief, fury, and longing. She remembers her mother's voice. Her father's silence. Ryan's betrayal. Caliph's devotion. She lifts the codex. And speaks. I swear by flame and blood. By the gods who sleep and the truths that burn. I will not be ruled. I will not be silenced. I am the fire. And I choose to rise. The throne ignites. The court bows. And Eleanor is no longer heir. She is flamebound. The oath changes her. Not just in power. In presence. Her eyes shimmer with gold. Her voice carries weight. Her touch leaves warmth. She walks through Therion and the people part like waves before a storm. Children whisper her name. Priests offer prayers. Enemies begin to tremble. But with power comes peril. The Shadowborn rise. They attack the Temple of the Veil at dusk. Creatures of smoke and bone, eyes hollow, mouths filled with curses. Eleanor fights with flame, not spells, but instinct. Her magic dances, devours, defends. Caliph fights beside her, blade singing, cloak torn, face bloodied. They win. But barely. And Eleanor sees the cost. The temple burns. The priests fall. And the veil thins further. That night, she dreams of Ryan. He stands in a field of stars, his hands bound, his eyes pleading. You must not awaken them. She wakes with tears on her cheeks. And a choice in her heart. The Flamebound order gathers. They speak of the gods, how they once ruled, how they were betrayed, how they now sleep beneath the mountains of Therion. The Codex reveals the path. A pilgrimage. A trial. A sacrifice. Eleanor must go. Caliph offers to follow. But she hesitates. She feels the pull of Ryan's warning. The weight of her mother's prophecy. The hunger of the gods. And she wonders. Is she awakening salvation? Or destruction? She leaves Tharian at dawn. Alone. The oath burns in her blood. And the gods begin to stir. Part 6, The Desert of Whispers. The desert does not welcome her. It watches. Eleanor steps into the sands of Varith Kai, where the wind speaks in forgotten tongues and the dunes shift like living things. The sun is a blade overhead, and the horizon stretches endlessly, mocking her resolve. She carries the Ember Codex wrapped in cloth, its heat pulsing against her spine like a heartbeat. Her cloak is scorched, her lips cracked, but her eyes burn with purpose. She is flamebound. And she is alone. The Desert of Whispers earned its name from the dead. It is said that the veil thins here more than anywhere else, that the souls of the lost drift through the wind, whispering truths and curses to those who dare to listen. Eleanor listens. She hears her mother's voice. You must go deeper. She hears Ryan's warning. They will use you. She hears Caliph's silence. And it is the loudest of all. On the third night, the sand sings. Eleanor wakes to find her camp surrounded by glowing glyphs, symbols etched into the earth by no hand she can see. The codex pulses. Her veins thrum. And then, from the shadows, they come. The Whisperborn. Not Shadowborn. Not gods. Something older. Their bodies shimmer like heat mirages, their eyes hollow, their voices layered with centuries. They do not attack. They surround. They speak. She walks the path of fire. She carries the truth. She must choose. Eleanor stands. I have chosen. The glyphs flare. And the Whisperborn vanish. She finds the ruins of Carathel at dawn. Once a city of scholars and seers, now a graveyard of stone and silence. The Codex guides her to the temple of the first flame, buried beneath collapsed towers and sand-choked halls. She descends alone, torch flickering, heart steady. Inside, she finds a pool. Still. Black. Reflective. She kneels. And the water shows her everything. She sees the gods. Not as benevolent beings, but as fractured forces, love, war, truth, hunger. She sees their betrayal. Their binding. Their rage. She sees her mother, Lysara, standing before them, offering her life to seal the veil. She sees herself. Not as heir. As key. The pool speaks. To awaken the gods, you must bleed. To bind them, you must burn. To rule, you must choose. Eleanor rises. And she does not hesitate. She cuts her palm. Lets the blood drip into the pool. The temple shakes. The codex ignites. And the gods begin to stir. She emerges from the ruins changed. Her magic no longer flickers. It roars. She walks through the desert, and the wind bows. The Whisperborn watch from afar, silent. The veil thins further. And in the distance, she sees Caliph. Waiting. He kneels. You should not have done it. She touches his face. I had to. He kisses her. And the desert burns. Part 7, The Forbidden City. The city rises like a wound in the earth. Eltharis, the Forbidden City. Once the seat of the gods, now sealed behind walls of obsidian and silence. No map marks its location. No song dares speak its name. But Eleanor finds it, drawn by the codex, by the whispers in her blood, by the fire that will not let her rest. She stands at its gates, alone. The wind is still. The sky bruised. And the runes carved into the stone shimmer faintly, as if recognizing her. She places her hand upon the seal. And the city opens. Inside, time forgets itself. Streets curve in impossible angles. Towers float above courtyards. Statues weep golden tears. The air tastes of memory and ash. Eleanor walks slowly, reverently, her senses stretched thin. The codex pulses with urgency. Her magic hums like a warning. She is not welcome. She is expected. The city is not empty. Figures move through the mist, hooded, silent, watching. They do not speak. They do not attack. They simply follow. Eleanor feels their presence like a weight on her spine. She reaches for her flame, but it flickers. The city dampens magic. Not to protect itself. To test. She finds the temple of the first binding at the heart of Eltharis. Its doors are carved from bone and starlight. Inside, the walls pulse with ancient energy. A throne sits at the center, not of stone, but of woven flame, flickering with memories. Eleanor approaches, heart pounding. And the gods speak. Not in words. In feeling. She sees visions. Of the world before the veil. Of gods walking among mortals. Of love twisted into war. Of her mother, Lysara, standing before this very throne, her belly full with Eleanor, her eyes defiant. She sees Ryan. Bound in chains of light. She sees Caliph. Kneeling before a god with no face. She sees herself. Burning. The gods demand a price. To awaken them fully, Eleanor must offer a memory. Not just any memory. Her most sacred. Her most painful. Her first love. She hesitates. She remembers Ryan's smile. His betrayal. His warning. She remembers the way her heart broke. And she gives it. The throne flares. The city trembles. And Eleanor screams. Not in pain. In release. The memory is gone. And the gods begin to rise. But something is wrong. The flame flickers erratically. The runes crack. The hooded figures begin to chant. Eleanor stumbles back, dizzy, disoriented. She feels her magic unraveling. She feels her soul stretching. And then, Caliph appears. He grabs her hand. Not this way. She looks into his eyes. And sees fear. They flee. Through collapsing streets. Through corridors that bend. Through shadows that reach. The city tries to keep her. The gods try to claim her. But Caliph burns with fury, and Eleanor with fire. They escape. Barely. Outside, beneath a sky torn with lightning, Eleanor collapses. Caliph holds her. You gave too much. She looks at him. I had to. He kisses her. And the world stills. But far away, in the mountains of Ethereum, the gods stir. And one of them smiles. Part 8, The Bond of Shadows and Light. The mountains of Ethereum rise like jagged truths against the sky. Eleanor climbs them alone. The wind bites. The snow blinds. The path vanishes beneath her feet. But she does not falter. The codex is sealed in her satchel, its flame dimmed but alive. Her cloak is torn. Her boots soaked. Her heart, fractured, but burning. She is flame-bound. And the gods are waiting. She reaches the summit at dusk. There, carved into the stone, is the Gate of Light, a relic older than the veil, older than the gods themselves. It pulses with energy, woven from threads of shadow and sun. Eleanor places her hand upon it. And the gate opens. Inside, the Temple of Duality awaits. Its walls shimmer with paradox, light and dark, fire and frost, truth and illusion. Statues of twin gods flank the altar, their faces veiled, their hands outstretched. Eleanor steps forward, and the runes beneath her feet ignite. She is not alone. Caliph follows. He kneels before the altar. Not to pray. To confess. I was born of shadow, he says. A child of the veil. My magic was never meant to touch yours. Eleanor listens. I was sent to guide you. To protect you. But He falters. I loved you. She touches his face. And the altar flares. The gods speak, not in words, but in feeling. Eleanor feels Caliph's soul, fractured, loyal, burning. She sees his past. His pain. His purpose. She sees herself reflected in him. Not as weapon. As woman. They bond. Not with vows. With fire. Their magic entwines, light and shadow, flame and dusk. The temple trembles. The codex pulses. And Eleanor feels herself shifting. She is no longer alone. She is no longer afraid. She is no longer just flame-bound. She is chosen. But the gods demand more. To awaken fully, Eleanor must face the trial of duality. She must walk the path of mirrors. She must confront herself. The path winds through illusions. She sees Ryan, bound, bleeding, begging. She sees Lasara, smiling, fading, forgiving. She sees herself, young, lost, burning. Each vision cuts. Each truth wounds. But she walks. And she survives. At the end of the path, she stands before the mirror of becoming. It shows her not what she was, but what she could be. A queen. A goddess. A flame. She touches it. And the gods awaken. The temple erupts in light. Caliph shields her. The codex ignites. And Eleanor screams. Not in pain. In power. She emerges from the mountains changed. Her eyes shimmer with starlight. Her voice carries the weight of gods. Her magic sings. And Caliph walks beside her. Not as guardian. As equal. But far to the south, in the ruins of Sarathan, Ryan stirs. And the shadows begin to rise. Part 9, The Curse of the Ancients. The wind howls through the veil of thorns. Eleanor stands at its edge, the codex pressed to her chest, Caliph at her side. The mountains behind them are quiet now, but the silence is not peace, it is warning. The gods have awakened. The veil is bleeding. And the ancients are stirring. The curse is real. And it is coming. They descend into the valley. The trees are petrified, their bark etched with runes that pulse faintly as Eleanor passes. The air is thick with memory, not hers, but older, heavier. Caliph walks with his blade drawn, his eyes scanning the shadows. He does not speak. He feels it too. The weight of prophecy. The scent of betrayal. At the heart of the veil lies the temple of the forgotten flame. It is buried beneath the earth, sealed by magic older than the gods. Eleanor places her hand upon the stone, and the runes flare. The codex hums. The ground trembles. The temple opens. Inside, they find the tombs. Rows of sarcophagi carved from obsidian, each marked with a name lost to time. The ancients, those who first wielded flame, who shaped the veil, who defied the gods. Eleanor walks among them, her footsteps echoing like thunder. She feels their eyes. She hears their whispers. She is the flame. She is the curse. She must choose. Caliph finds the altar. It is cracked. Bleeding light. And upon it lies a blade, black as night, forged from shadow and fire. The blade of Varian. The weapon that ended the first war. The weapon that cursed the ancients. Eleanor reaches for it. Caliph stops her. If you take it, you cannot go back. She looks at him. I already can't. She lifts the blade. And the temple screams. Visions flood her mind. The ancients rising. The gods falling. The veil tearing. Her mother, Lysara, bound in chains of light, her voice a song of sorrow. Ryan, standing in fire, his eyes pleading. Caliph, kneeling before a throne of ash. And herself. Burning. The curse takes hold. Her magic flares uncontrollably. The codex ignites. The runes crack. Caliph grabs her, pulls her back, but the flame does not listen. It roars. It consumes. It remembers. She collapses. And dreams. In the dream, she stands before the ancients. They are not human. Not God. Not mortal. They are flame. They speak. You are the last. You are the first. You are the choice. She asks what the curse is. They show her. A world without veil. A world ruled by gods. A world without love. She wakes. Caliph is beside her, his face pale, his hands trembling. You were gone for hours. She touches his cheek. I was gone for centuries. The blade is hers now. It hums with power. It thirsts. And Eleanor knows. The war has begun. Part 10, The Trial of the Heart. The blade of Varian hums against Eleanor's spine as she enters the Vale of Echoes. This is where the gods test not power, but devotion. The trial of the heart is not fought with flame or steel. It is faced with memory, with longing, with the raw ache of love and loss. Eleanor walks alone, the codex sealed, Caliph watching from the ridge, forbidden to follow. She must face this alone. The vale is quiet. Too quiet. Mist curls around her ankles. The trees whisper in languages she almost understands. The path vanishes beneath her feet, replaced by a mirror of water that reflects not sky, but soul. She steps forward. And the world fractures. She is no longer in the vale. She is in Caerthwen. The orchard blooms. The river sings. Her mother's laughter echoes through the trees. Eleanor is 17 again, barefoot, innocent, untouched by fire. She sees herself. And she weeps. Then the vision shifts. Firehall burns. Her father lies poisoned. The council sneers. Caliph kneels. Ryan bleeds. The codex screams. The gods rise. She sees herself. And she does not flinch. The trial deepens. She stands in a chamber of light, and before her, Ryan. Alive. Unbound. His eyes shimmer with sorrow. You loved me. She nods. I still do. He steps forward. But you chose power. She touches his chest. I chose the world. He kisses her. And the chamber shatters. She wakes in the veil, breathless, trembling, changed. The gods have seen her heart. And they have judged. Caliph descends the ridge. He does not speak. He kneels. And Eleanor lifts the blade. Not in defiance. In devotion. The trial is past. But the war is near. And the gods demand blood. Part 11, The Caravan of Secrets. The desert wind carries more than sand. It carries whispers. Eleanor rides at the head of the caravan, her cloak billowing like stormlight, the blade of Varian strapped to her back, the codex sealed beneath her saddle. Behind her, a procession of strangers, mages, mercenaries, exiles, each drawn by rumor, prophecy, or desperation. None know the full truth. None know that the gods have awakened. None know that the flame they follow is a woman. She does not tell them. Not yet. Caliph rides beside her. He speaks little now. His eyes are darker, his magic quieter. The bond between them hums with tension, love forged in fire, tested by silence. Eleanor feels it in every glance, every breath, every moment they do not touch. She wonders if love can survive prophecy. The caravan moves through the wastes of Darvel. A land cursed by forgotten wars, where the sun never sets and the shadows never sleep. They pass ruins that whisper names. Statues that bleed light. Wells that reflect not water, but memory. Eleanor listens. And the codex begins to speak. It reveals a map. Not of land. Of truth. The locations of the flamebound relics, 4 in total. Each tied to a god. Each holding a fragment of the veil. If Eleanor can gather them, she can bind the gods. Or free them. She does not yet know which she will choose. The first relic lies in the city of Mercale. A place of mirrors and masks, ruled by the House of Whispers. The caravan arrives at dusk, the gates opening with eerie silence. Eleanor dismounts, her boots striking marble, her heart steady. Inside, secrets bloom like poison. She meets Lady Vitaliy. A courtesan turned queen, her beauty sharp as glass, her smile a blade. She knows Eleanor's name. She knows Calipha's past. She knows of Ryan. And she offers a deal. Give me the codex. I will give you the relic. Eleanor refuses. Lady Vitaliy smiles. Then you must earn it. The trial is not of strength. It is of truth. Eleanor must walk the hall of echoes, a corridor of mirrors that reflect not her face, but her soul. She sees her mother's death. Her father's silence. Ryan's betrayal. Calipha's devotion. She sees herself. And she does not look away. She passes. The relic is hers. A pendant of flame and frost, pulsing with ancient power. She clasps it to her chest, and the codex flares. 1 down. 3 to go. But Lady Vitaliy whispers as she leaves. The gods do not want to be bound. The caravan moves on. Through storms. Through silence. Through lands that remember her name. Eleanor rides. Caliph watches. And far behind them, in the ruins of Sarathan, Ryan gathers shadows. Part 12, The Tower of Ashes. The tower looms like a scar against the sky. Eleanor stands at its base, the second relic pulsing at her throat, the codex whispering warnings she no longer ignores. The Tower of Ashes was once a sanctuary for the Flamebound, now it is a tomb. Its walls are scorched, its gates sealed, its name spoken only in fear. But she must enter. The third relic waits within. And so does the truth. Caliph watches her ascend. He does not follow. The tower demands solitude. Each step burns. Not with heat, but with memory. The stones remember every soul who climbed before her, every oath, every betrayal, every death. Eleanor feels them. She hears them. She walks the path of fire. She carries the blade. She must not falter. Inside, the air is thick with ash. It clings to her skin, her breath, her thoughts. The walls pulse faintly, alive with old magic. She passes murals faded by flame. Gods crowned in light, mortals kneeling in blood, a woman with Eleanor's eyes standing alone before a burning throne. Her mother. Lysara. At the summit, she finds the chamber. Circular. Silent. Empty, except for a pedestal of obsidian, and upon it, the third relic, a ring of woven flame and shadow. Eleanor reaches for it. And the tower awakens. Visions strike like lightning. She sees Lysara, bound in chains of light, her voice a song of sorrow. She sees Caliph, kneeling before a god with no face. She sees Ryan, his soul fractured, his love real, his fate sealed. She sees herself. Not as heir. As flame. The tower speaks. Not in words. In fire. It shows her the cost of power. The price of prophecy. The weight of choice. It shows her a future where the gods rule. Where mortals kneel. Where love is forbidden. It shows her a future where she is queen. Alone. She screams. The relic flares. The codex ignites. And Eleanor falls. She wakes in Caliph's arms. His face is pale. His hands tremble. His eyes burn. You were gone for days. She touches his cheek. I was gone for lifetimes. The ring is hers. The third relic. The codex now glows with steady flame. 3 down. 1 remains. But the tower has marked her. Her magic is stronger. Her heart, fractured. And far to the east, in the ruins of Carthwin, Ryan waits. And the shadows begin to whisper. Part 13, The Blade of Destiny. The wind over the cliffs of Varian tastes of war. Eleanor stands at the edge, the third relic pulsing against her chest, the blade of Varian strapped to her back like a promise she cannot break. Below, the valley churns with movement, banners rising, soldiers gathering, whispers of gods and flame echoing through the ranks. The world is preparing to burn. And Eleanor must decide who will light the match. Caliph watches her from the ridge. His eyes are unreadable now, love buried beneath duty, desire tangled with dread. He does not speak. He does not need to. Eleanor feels the tension between them like a thread pulled taut across fate. She wonders if it will snap. The codex reveals the final relic. Not in a temple. In a battlefield. The blade of destiny, once wielded by the god Varian himself, lost in the final war, buried beneath the ruins of Carthwin. Her home. Her beginning. She must return. The caravan disbands. Some follow her. Some flee. Some vanish into shadow. Eleanor rides alone, Caliph beside her, the road winding through lands that remember her name. Villagers bow. Priests weep. Children whisper. She is the flame. She is the queen. She is the end. Caerthwen is not as she left it. The orchards are withered. The river runs red. The temple lies in ruin. And in the center of the village, Ryan. Alive. Changed. Waiting. He does not draw his blade. He does not speak. He simply looks at her. And Eleanor feels everything. The love. The betrayal. The warning. She steps forward. And the ground trembles. The blade of destiny lies beneath the altar. Sealed in stone. Guarded by flame. Eleanor kneels, places her hand upon the seal, and the relic flares. The codex ignites. The runes blaze. And the gods speak. She is ready. Ryan steps forward. You don't have to do this. She looks at him. I already did. He reaches for her. Caliph draws his blade. The air fractures. And Eleanor screams. Not in pain. In power. The blade of destiny rises. And the world begins to burn. She holds it aloft. And the gods awaken fully. The veil tears. The sky darkens. And Eleanor stands between love and war. Between Ryan and Caliph. Between destiny and desire. She chooses. Not with words. With flame. Part 14, The Night of Betrayal. The sky over Caerthwen bleeds violet. Eleanor stands in the ruins of her childhood, the blade of destiny pulsing in her grip, the codex burning against her chest. The final relic is hers. The gods are awake. The veil is torn. And the world holds its breath. But prophecy is never kind. And love is never simple. Caliph watches her from the shadows. His eyes shimmer with something she cannot name, devotion, dread, desire. He does not speak. He does not move. He waits. Eleanor feels the tension between them like a storm gathering behind her ribs. She wonders if it will break. Ryan steps from the temple. His cloak is torn. His face is pale. His eyes, no longer pleading. They burn. You've gathered them all, he says. Eleanor nods. You knew I would. He steps closer. You shouldn't have. The wind shifts. The runes flare. And the gods speak. The flame must choose. Ryan draws a blade. Not of steel. Of shadow. Forged from the remnants of the veil, it pulses with ancient magic, twisted, hungry, alive. Eleanor steps back. Caliph moves forward. And the world fractures. The battle is not of armies. It is of hearts. Caliph and Ryan clash, light against shadow, devotion against regret. Eleanor watches, torn between past and future, between love and destiny. The codex screams. The blade of destiny hums. The relics flare. She must choose. Ryan falters. Caliph bleeds. Eleanor screams. And the gods descend. They are not beautiful. They are not kind. They are fire and frost, hunger and silence, truth and ruin. They speak in voices that shatter stone, in feelings that fracture souls. They demand the flame. They demand Eleanor. She lifts the blade. She lifts the codex. She lifts her heart. And she chooses. Not with words. With fire. The gods recoil. The veil trembles. Ryan falls. Caliph kneels. And Eleanor burns. But betrayal is not always a blade. Sometimes, it is a kiss. Lady Vitaliy appears. Cloaked in light, crowned in lies. She was never just a courtesan. She was a god. And she smiles. Thank you, Eleanor. You've done exactly what we needed. The relics vanish. The codex shatters. The blade dims. And Eleanor screams. Not in pain. In fury. Part 15, The Storm of Blood and Fire. The storm breaks at midnight. It does not creep. It does not warn. It descends, violent, divine, and absolute. Eleanor stands at the center of it, her cloak torn, her blade drawn, her heart a battlefield. The gods have awakened. The relics are scattered. The codex lies shattered. And Lady Vitaliy, once courtesan, now goddess, has claimed the throne of flame. The world begins to burn. The sky splits open. Flame rains from the heavens. Cities crumble. Rivers boil. The veil tears wider, and the dead begin to walk. Eleanor watches as the prophecies she once read in candlelight unfold in blood and ash. She does not weep. She does not run. She rises. Caliph fights beside her. His magic is raw now, unbound, untamed, beautiful. He moves like a storm, his blade singing, his eyes locked on Eleanor. They do not speak. They do not need to. Their bond is forged in fire. But even fire can be consumed. Ryan returns. Not as lover. As weapon. He leads the Shadowborn, his soul fractured, his heart still tethered to Eleanor. He does not attack her. He does not spare her. He watches. And waits. The battlefield is chaos. Flamebound warriors clash with gods. Mortals scream. Magic fractures the sky. Eleanor moves through it like prophecy incarnate, her blade cutting, her flame roaring, her voice a war cry. She reaches Lady Vitaliy. And the world stills. The goddess smiles. You were always meant to burn. Eleanor lifts the blade of destiny. I was meant to choose. They clash. Not with steel. With truth. Eleanor's flame meets Vitaly's frost. The relics flare. The gods scream. The veil trembles. And the storm consumes them both. Caliph falls. Ryan kneels. Eleanor stands. She does not win. She survives. The battlefield is ash. The gods retreat. The veil begins to mend. And Eleanor, bloodied, broken, burning, walks through the silence. She finds Caliph. His body is cold. His soul flickers. She kneels. And she weeps. Ryan watches from afar. He does not speak. He does not move. He disappears. Eleanor buries Caliph beneath the flamebound altar. She places the blade of destiny upon his chest. She lights the pyre. And the gods weep. The storm is over. But the war is not. Part 16, The Path of the Oracle. The oracle waits in silence. Eleanor walks the scorched path alone, her cloak heavy with ash, her heart hollow from loss. The blade of destiny no longer sings, it mourns. Caliph is gone. Ryan has vanished. The gods have betrayed her. And the world, once trembling with prophecy, now bleeds with consequence. She does not seek answers. She seeks truth. The temple of the oracle lies beyond the veil of sighs, carved into the bones of a mountain that never sleeps. Its entrance is guarded by no blade, no spell, only memory. Eleanor steps forward, and the stone breathes. She is expected. Inside, the air is thick with time. Scrolls drift like ghosts. Candles burn with blue flame. The walls whisper in languages older than stars. Eleanor walks slowly, her footsteps echoing like thunder through the silence. And then, she sees her. The oracle. She is neither young nor old. Neither mortal nor divine. She is flame wrapped in flesh, eyes like galaxies, voice like wind. You have come far, she says. Eleanor nods. I have lost more. The oracle gestures. A pool of light appears. Eleanor kneels. And the visions begin. She sees Caliph, his soul bound to hers, his death not an end, but a tether. She sees Ryan, his love real, his fate twisted, his heart still hers. She sees the gods, fractured, hungry, afraid. She sees herself. Not as queen. As choice. The oracle speaks. You are the fulcrum. The flame. The final breath. Eleanor trembles. I don't know what to do. The oracle smiles. You do. You always did. She offers Eleanor a gift. Not power. Clarity. A vial of starlight. A thread of Caliph's soul. A map of the final veil. Eleanor takes them. And she understands. The gods must be bound. But not with relics. With love. With sacrifice. With truth. She leaves the temple changed. Her magic no longer burns, it sings. Her heart no longer breaks, it guides. Her destiny no longer waits. It walks. Far to the west, the final veil trembles. And Eleanor begins the last journey. Part 17, The Rise of Eleanor. The world is quiet. Not with peace. With aftermath. Ash drifts across the sky like snow. The gods have retreated into silence. The veil, torn and trembling, begins to mend. And Eleanor stands at the edge of the flame-bound altar, her cloak soaked in blood and starlight, her heart no longer breaking, but becoming. She is no longer heir. No longer weapon. She is legend. The people gather. From the ruins of Caerthwen, from the towers of Therion, from the deserts of Verith Kai and the mountains of Etherion. They come not with banners, but with belief. They kneel not in fear, but in reverence. They whisper her name. Eleanor. Flameborn. Queen of the Vale. She does not crown herself. She does not need to. The fire does it for her. The codex, once shattered, reforms in her hands. Its pages now blank. Waiting. She writes the first line. I chose love. Ryan returns. Not with armies. With silence. He kneels before her, his blade laid at her feet, his eyes filled with everything they lost and everything they might still find. I was wrong, he says. Eleanor touches his cheek. So was I. She does not forgive. She understands. Caliph's soul flickers in the vial of starlight. Eleanor holds it close. She does not weep. She listens. And in the silence, she hears him. You were always meant to rise. The gods speak once more. Not in fury. In awe. They offer her a throne. She declines. She chooses the flame. She chooses the people. She chooses herself. The relics are returned to the earth. The blade of destiny is sealed in fire. The codex is placed in the Temple of Echoes. And Eleanor walks forward. Not as queen. As guide. She rebuilds. With Ryan at her side. With Caliph in her heart. With the gods watching. With the world healing. The rise is not a moment. It is a movement. Part 18, the final confrontation. The final veil trembles. It hangs above the cliffs of Etherian, a shimmering wound in the sky, pulsing with ancient magic and the weight of every choice Eleanor has made. The gods gather beneath it, fractured, furious, afraid. The world holds its breath. And Eleanor walks toward them. She wears no crown. She carries no banner. She is flame wrapped in flesh, grief braided into her hair, love sealed in her bones. The codex glows faintly at her side, the blade of destiny strapped to her back, the vial of Caliph's soul tucked close to her heart. She is not here to kneel. She is here to end it. Ryan stands before the veil. His eyes shimmer with shadow and sorrow. His blade is drawn. His heart is open. You don't have to fight me, he says. Eleanor steps forward. I'm not fighting you. She lifts her hand. And the gods descend. They are no longer veiled. They are fury and frost, hunger and hope, light and ruin. They speak in voices that fracture stone, in truths that burn. You were meant to bind us. You were meant to serve. You were never meant to choose. Eleanor lifts the codex. I was always meant to choose. The blade of destiny flares. The relics ignite. The veil begins to tear. And the final confrontation begins. The gods strike. Eleanor burns. Ryan defends. The world fractures. She sees visions. Of Caliph, his soul flickering, his love eternal. Of Ryan, his heart breaking, his loyalty unwavering. Of herself, young, lost, rising. She sees the truth. The gods do not fear power. They fear love. She reaches into the vial. Caliph's soul flares. She speaks the words of binding. Not from the codex. From her heart. The gods scream. The veil shatters. And Eleanor chooses. She binds them. Not with flame. With sacrifice. She offers her soul. Her magic. Her memory. The gods retreat. The world stills. The veil mends. And Eleanor falls. Ryan catches her. She is not breathing. He weeps. And the gods weep with him. But the flame does not die. It flickers. It waits. It remembers. Part 19, the price of freedom. The flame flickers. Not in defeat. In transformation. Eleanor lies beneath the stars, her body still, her soul scattered across the threads of magic that bind the world. The gods have retreated. The veil is whole. The war is over. But peace demands a price. And she has paid it. Ryan watches over her. His blade rests beside her, untouched. His heart, once fractured, now beats with quiet reverence. He does not speak. He does not cry. He simply waits. For a miracle. For a memory. For her. The people gather. They build altars. They sing songs. They tell stories of the girl who burned and the queen who chose. They do not know if she lives. They do not know if she hears. But they believe. And belief is its own kind of magic. The oracle returns. She kneels beside Eleanor, her eyes shimmering with starlight. She is not gone, she says. She is becoming. The codex, once sealed, opens. Its pages write themselves. She chose love. She chose sacrifice. She chose freedom. Calitha's soul flickers in the vial. It pulses. It sings. It reaches. And Eleanor breathes. Not deeply. Not fully. But enough. She wakes beneath a sky she helped save. Her eyes shimmer with flame. Her voice is a whisper. Her heart is whole. Ryan kneels. You came back. She touches his face. I never left. The gods do not speak. They watch. They remember. They honor. Eleanor does not reclaim a throne. She does not rebuild a kingdom. She walks among the people. She listens. She heals. She loves. The price of freedom was everything. And she paid it. But the flame still burns. And the story is not yet done. Part 20, Ashes and Stardust. The stars return. Not in silence. In song. Eleanor walks through the meadows of Carthwin, barefoot, the wind threading through her hair like memory. The world is healing. The veil is whole. The gods are quiet. And the flame, once a roar, is now a whisper. She is no longer the girl who burned. She is the woman who chose. Children run beside her. They do not fear her. They ask for stories. She tells them of orchards that bloom in moonlight, of cities carved from glass, of a boy who loved her and a man who died for her. She does not speak of gods. She speaks of choices. And they listen. Ryan watches from afar. He does not ask for forgiveness. He offers loyalty. They walk together sometimes, beneath skies that remember. Their love is quieter now, less fire, more ember. It does not consume. It warms. The codex is sealed in the Temple of Echoes. Its final page reads. She rose. Calitha's soul flickers in the stars. Eleanor feels him in the wind, in the flame, in the quiet moments between dusk and dream. She does not mourn him. She honors him. The gods do not return. They are bound. Not in chains. In choice. Eleanor made it. And the world remembers. She does not rule. She guides. She does not command. She listens. She does not burn. She glows. The Flamebound Order is reborn. Not as warriors. As keepers. Of truth. Of love. Of legacy. Eleanor stands at the edge of the world. The wind sings. The stars shimmer. And she smiles. Not because it is over. Because it begins again. Ashes fall. Stardust rises. And the flame lives on. If this journey stirred something in you, if a moment, a line, or a character stayed with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Tell me, which character captured your heart the most, and why? Your voice keeps this flame alive.